You see it? You see it?
I'm going to show you real quick what it started now. I see you. So before anybody jumps on, can you go ahead and hit that share screen button? And then choose the link that you want.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. All right. So I share. Okay. And then when I'm done, I go here and are people able to log in?
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll be able to log in.
Share. Okay. And then after that, I go to live stream and I start sharing. Okay.
There it is. Awesome.
Okay. So do you, okay. Okay. So no one has logged in yet. Are they able to?
Yeah, they'll be able to. It's you did make it public, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did because okay, cool. It popped up for me, so it must be. So we'll probably see people trickle in.
So we're going live. So it's recording it.
It is recording it, so you want to go. If you want to just kind of go ahead and start talking about silencing negative self-talk and just getting intros to the conversations, some basic ideas you're going to talk about. That way, when people do pop in, you're already in process.
Okay. I'm wondering. Okay. I can see you, but not sure. But I'm able to log in. So one of my students is trying to log in.
Yep, and we have 3 people on the live already. So
where do you see that?
Down below below the title screen. I don't know if it'll look the same for you.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead and do your thing. I'm going to hang up.
Okay. All right. Bye. Great. Welcome. Glad you're here in this live stream. I am glad you are able to join us for our YouTube live stream. And the focus today is on ways to silence your negative self-talk. I'm pleased to let you know that this program is sponsored by Laurel Ridge Treatment Center, and we have a video to share with you on the sponsorship. So I'm going to go to the video.
This stream is sponsored by Laurel Ridge Treatment Center. Laurel Ridge Behavioral Health Program offers compassionate care for every stage of life. It provides personalized treatment for all populations. Their interest is to help you into your journey to wellness. There are services for children, adolescents, adults, military dependents, active duty service members, veterans, and first responders. They offer inpatient services, outpatient services, substance abuse treatment, and residential treatment. Call 210-491-3591 for no cost assessment. Laurel Ridge is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their mission is to save lives, heal families, and create hope.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Welcome, everyone. Glad you are here. And so in this session, we are going to focus on ways to silence your negative self-talk. So this is your session to ask questions. So I would love to hear before we ask the questions, I would love to hear some of the negative self-talk that you may struggle with. What are some common negative self-talk you may struggle with? And if you will, kindly post it in the chat area so that we can review it. Let's see. Okay. Good. No one really likes me. I'm not talented enough. Okay. Great. So in looking at your negative self-talk, let's talk about the history of it, the origins of it. So it is easy to want to fix it, but I would like for you to understand the origins of it. We struggle with negative self-talk. So think about the roots. Where did this talk show up? At what age did this talk show up? And who else in your family struggles with this as well? So if you will type your responses in the chat area, I would love to read it out to the audience. Okay, one of the negative self-talk that's heard that is shown here is you'll never be different. You'll be the same like the rest of us. Okay. What about the roots? What do you think are the roots of your talk? Whom do you emulate in your negative self-talk? Might it be that your self-talk is very similar to what you heard growing up? It could be similar to your mother's or your father's or your caregiver, the person who raised you, okay? So I hear from Lindsay, it says my mother, so my parents. So think about the self-talk, lean into it. So what are the common things that your parents repeatedly share that you might have inadvertently absorbed, that now it is your own script as well? So think about what was commonly said by your parents. Okay. So this, yes, because you're too busy to take it. Yes, Jaje says, so the roots are based on jealousy, worthlessness. Okay. So if you will dig deep into understanding what were some of the common talks of your parents, and over time, if you keep hearing it for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, then this becomes the script that we often take with us. It is important to examine as we become adults, as we turn the page and move into adulthood. What are some scripts we want to change? What are some scripts we want to introduce into our lives? Because if you spent 2 decades listening and absorbing and feeding your emotional space with the talks that are negative, then it becomes the blood that pumps the way you think of yourself. And so it's important to think about how you want to understand the self-talk, lean into it, dig deeper to understand it rather than try to dismiss it. The more understanding you have, the more likely it is that you will be able to understand some of the early roots. Okay. So Zach says, okay, take risks to be safe. Okay, India says, okay, the goal is to break generational curses. Yes, to break some of the templates that have been set for us. So as an adult, in changing your self-talk, let's think about some of the templates you want to introduce. What are some of the new templates you want to bring into your headspace? Rather than complain or sit with the negative templates that is commonly said, used, that is a common script that we struggle with. Many times when we struggle with an issue, we think, okay, how can we mull over it, we obsess over it, and it's hard to break it. So it's important to step out of the box and think about what you want to introduce into your life. So let's talk about some of the scripts that you want to introduce instead of, wallowing, or instead of marinating in those self-talk. What are some new scripts you want to introduce? So feel free to type it in the chat area. Okay, let's hear some scripts. The common one is, I'm not good enough. People struggle with that. So what is your new template? Okay, Lindsay says, my negative self-talk is that I can tell myself I'm capable. I'm capable of learning new things. Okay, Jacqueline says, you do not have to hang on to prove your worth. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Be brave, says Shajay. Mm-hmm. You are able to take on challenging, positive tasks. I'm capable of creating a life that I enjoy. Somalia, thank you. So these are new scripts. So dig a little deeper. Besides this script of capability, of things that you can enjoy, think about what emotions you want to introduce into your space. What are some new emotions you want to introduce? Okay, Lindsay says, what I do does not define me, who I am or me. Okay, nice. I'm capable of succeeding, says Somalia. Okay. Wendy, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself more each day. So what emotions would you like to introduce into your headspace? What are some things you want to see show up more on a consistent basis? Okay, I'm compassionate is another reminder from Lindsay. Develop positive confidence. Mm-hmm. So you want to introduce cheerfulness. So you want to introduce happiness. You want to introduce peace. Okay, think about other emotions. You want to introduce perseverance, joy. You want to introduce connectedness, Jacqueline, nice. Okay, give me one or two more emotions. So you want to introduce wonder. So wonder, in talking about wonder, what comes to my mind is curiosity, the wonderment in that you want to be curious. You want to have an inquisitive mindset. Okay. So creativity is another strength, another thing to introduce. So these are great emotions and great traits to introduce. So now let's add a little twist to it in thinking about being creative, in thinking about wonderment. Form a statement. To introduce creativity into my life, I would like to. So let's hear how would you introduce creativity into your life? Okay, so you want to enjoy painting. So think about relational in creativity. In relationships, how do you want to introduce creativity? Be it with yourself, with your children, with your spouse, with your partner, with your parents. Okay, if you'll jot down your thoughts, I would love to read that to the audience. So I see connectedness and love. Okay. Okay, games to play with children, that's creativity. So another form of creativity is how do you have enriched conversations in building connection, because connection was the concept introduced by Somalia. So how would you introduce connection and creativity? So let's put some sentences together and how can we blend and merge those two. Conversation starter cards. Okay. Others, I would love to hear from you. Conversation starter cards. What else? How else would you introduce that? Okay, so Stacy says, I would like to hesitant in making certain decisions, but not overthink. So not overthink in building deeper relationships. Okay. So Stacy. So to enjoy the relationship for what it offers rather than dissect it and scrutinize it or be critical about it. So playing character, charades. So how about connection, creativity, and introduce one more concept. Peace. So let's introduce these three concepts: connection, creativity, and peace. So if you could string this together, what comes to your mind? Okay, if you jot down your thoughts, I would love to read it to the audience. Lindsay says a long walk together. So yeah, do the simple things, do the things that you enjoy, yoga, meditation, groups. So that is peace. So that's creative. So creative is also introducing out of the box conversations. So how might you do that, be it with your children or your spouse or your parents? Painting a mural, says Wendy. Okay, to introduce creativity, connection, and peace into my life, I would like to take time to listen to others. That's great. Listen to others and listen with intent. Okay, that's a great suggestion. So it's important to listen to understand. And as you listen to others, and be it your children, your adolescent, your spouse, or your friend, many times when you hear and listen attentively, then when they get the muddledness out of their head, then it helps them feel more heard, and the negative self-talk dissipates. So it's important to think about the gift that you can give to your friends. It is helpful to hear them out. So not necessarily to fix it or to offer suggestions. The many times that the gift you give to other people is just the gift of presence, not the gift of solving their problems or helping them out. So their desire is to be heard. And when heard, validated, or affirmed, people seem to calm down, their anxiety seems to lessen, and they feel like, okay, I am I was able to get this out of my headspace. So think about ways that you can give others the gift of listening when they struggle with negative self-talk, be it with your children, your coworker, or your partner. Can you think of ways that you can listen attentively, intentionally? Okay. So let's talk about how intentional listening will impact relationships. Okay, Wendy says, let's lend a listening ear. Okay, be in tune to the verbal cues from Lindsay. Wonderful. Be present. Okay, from Zach. So I like that these words are used. So restate what they said. That's great. Slow them down, or understanding, the gift of understanding. So the eye contact, stop what you're doing. And this is very important with children. I like what you said, Tricia. The eye contact, giving them attention, presence, all these are gifts. It may not be a monetary gift, a tangible gift, but these are important gifts that children appreciate, adolescents appreciate, spouses appreciate. Okay. Not allowing anything to distract me in the conversation, India. Very nice. So when we are present, it helps people feel seen and heard. And when we give them the gift of empathy, then they feel more heard. And my hope is that as people feel more heard, the negative struggles may dissipate over time. So even when working with your own children, your adolescents, or your spouse, think about the gift of time, the gift of presence. If you can spend 15 to 20 minutes with each child, 15 of 20 minutes of quality time with people who are significant to you, that means a lot, because giving them focused attention helps them unravel and gives them the time to talk about things that they have buried within them. Think of a friend who's struggling with anxiety, who struggles with depression. They have a lot of internal scripts that bubbles within them. So if you can think about how you can give them the gift of time for them to chat and to talk about some of their struggles. And over time, as you hear them, they may be able to track their own themes. They may be able to identify some of the parallel patterns they see in their coping, their effective coping or their ineffective coping. Okay, so India says, not allow anything to distract me in the moment when listening. Okay. Let's talk about how you would like for others to hear you when you are struggling. What is meaningful to you when you are struggling? Okay. All right. Okay. What helps you in moments of darkness? What do you need when you are in a headspace that is not pleasant, but you need help? So again, Zach says quality time for them to not fix me. Jajay says that. Okay, Wendy says for them to validate my feelings. Yes, it means a lot for them to validate your feelings. So no fixing, just being present, quality time being present. Okay, others? What else do you prefer when you are struggling? Listen to affirm. Okay? Affirming. Okay, okay, lovely. Acceptance. Stacy says acceptance. Acceptance is great in that many times we may be struggling with being critical, being judgmental, being harsh on ourselves. So in those dark moments, we are looking for people to accept us for who we are with all our humanness, our mistakes, and not judge us, because our own self-judgment is hard. So it is important to accept yourself and to have, when you have somebody give you the gift of acceptance, that is very important. Okay. Refrain from telling. So actually listening. Okay, very good. India says to listen without chiming in with your own storyline. Yes. So many times it is easy to fall into the trap of wanting to share your own pain when others are sharing about their struggles. Okay, listen to the end. Lindsay says, so let's talk about the concept of taking out judgment, taking out criticism. If we take those out of the conversation, how might it impact the person who is struggling? Okay, share your thoughts. If we take out harsh criticism, negative judgment, so people might open up more. Yes, especially teenagers. They might open up more when they know that you hear to understand. You listen to them to understand. You did not listen to them to correct, to guide them. Okay, I like that. They open up more. What else? Okay, so when we take out judgment, Jarjay says there may be safety. Feel heard. Yes, safety is important. So they may feel heard. So think about how judgment and criticism impacts the person and how it might spin and escalate their negative self-talk. Okay, when there's criticism and judgment, it might do what to the person? Okay, I see you typing. Okay. So with harsh criticism, which complains about what they are doing wrong, what they are not doing enough, it only causes a child and adult to shut down. Okay. So when we remove judgment, we remove criticism, and we put in acceptance, then a person might open up more. Mhm. Okay, yes, you might think that you are in the wrong when judgment is in the conversation. So it helps to refrain from judgment. It helps to listen and understand the motives of their behavior and to dig deep. And this is an opportunity for you to use creativity to hear, to ask to probe more into their decision-making process. This is an opportunity to understand what other factors impacted their decision-making process. Okay. Yes. So Lindsay says when we listen with critical ears, then the right wrong attitude shows up. So in conversation, think of it as a neutral stance. They are here to listen to understand. Okay. So take up the scripts. Okay. Okay. Judgment and criticism only creates negative scripts. So we want to introduce more intentional living, more intentional listening, more effective listening. Okay. All right. We have a few minutes left. Let's sum up. Tell me what would be something that you would like to intentionally practice related to shrinking the negative self-talk and related to listening. What are some practices that you want to think about before we close? Okay, if you will type it. All right. So the negative self-talk that you would like to diffuse, to slow down, and how would you like to listen differently? Okay, to be more positive, say Chargé. I am concerned about others' impression and not focus on others' impressions or what others think. So Tricia says to be mindful in listening. Yes, mindful listening. Lindsay says, like to be calm, to listen to my daughter. Yes. Yes, listen with empathy. Reflect on my accomplishments, my abilities, rather than my wrongdoings. Okay. Sure. Wendy, give myself a chance. Okay. To be and not be critical of myself. Nice. To practice self-compassion. That's a great reminder. Self-compassion. Remember the pause. Yes, yes, yes. And listen empathically. Very nice. Though these are great practices. I love it. So I am going to start wrapping up. I like these reminders that you have shared, and I hope that you would put it on a sticky note and use that as your reminder for the week. So when we practice a new behavior, it is important to give us some visual cues, some visual reminders, be it on the mirror, be it in your car, be it on your computer, on a little sticky note, at your workspace. So use this as reminders for you to focus on this week. So next week, our topic is going to be on, let's see. The topic next Thursday is recognizing self-destructive relationship patterns. Recognizing self-destructive relationship patterns. So this live stream will be offered every Thursday at 8 p.m. I hope you can join us, and then feel free to invite your friends or family to join us. So before we close, I'm going to show you the sponsorship video. And we want to thank Laurel Ridge for sponsoring this program. And I'm going to turn to the video. Foot. Oh, foot. Let's see. I'm not sure. Okay. The video have gone someplace else. But anyway, so the video has disappeared. But anyway, I am going to thank Laurel Ridge for sponsoring this program. Again, remember they have 24-hour assessment, and they offer inpatient services, outpatient services, substance abuse treatment, and residential treatment. So services are available for children, adolescents, adults, military dependents, active duty service members, veterans, and first responders. So the number to call is 210-491-3591. So we appreciate Laurel Ridge for sponsoring this program. Their mission statement is to save lives, heal families, and create hope. Thank you for joining the YouTube live stream. I appreciate your time to join this. And I hope to see you next week, and it will be a weekly event at 8 p.m. So bring your friends and have an awesome week, being kind, compassionate to yourself. Thank you so much. All right.